This fact scared Taehyung, not knowing what was happening with Jungkook's body. Taehyung prided himself in being the type of dom who was conscious of every breath his sub took, every movement, every moan. Taehyung would always make note of them all, and he would know what every one of them meant. But now, Jungkook was alternating between panting and whining softly, and Taehyung didn't know why. Did he even know how to dom anymore? Did he even know this boy that wasn't his sub? Taehyung. Jungkook whimpered, his high-pitched voice ripping Taehyung out of his thoughts. It was then that Taehyung realized that his left hand was still intertwined in Jungkook's hair, clutching with white knuckles and pulling hard. Jungkook's head was nearly tipped back as far as it would go, and he was trembling ever so slightly. How long had Taehyung been forcing the boy's head back like that? Taehyung compelled his hand to let go, knuckles burning as he straightened them and let the soft locks slip through his fingers. "I'm sorry, love. Good boy for using your colors," Taehyung murmured as he began lightly scratching at Jungkook's scalp. The praise dripped off the man's tongue with ease, tasting like honey and heaven and half a dozen other things that Taehyung had forgotten he could experience just by calling Jungkook a good boy. Jungkook relaxed instantly, sighing as his eyes fluttered closed. Maybe it felt the same way to him too. "Talk to me, kitten," Taehyung said, fighting through the fuzzy feeling in his head that wasn't supposed to be there. "Tell me what you want." "Want to be a good boy for you, sir," Jungkook said automatically, as if Taehyung had just pressed a button to make him do so. "Specifics, darling," Taehyung said airily, feigning impatience at the way he needed to pull a proper answer out of Jungkook. In actuality, he could never be impatient with his boy. Taehyung felt like he had been punched in the gut. Jungkook was not his. Not his sub, not his boyfriend, not his lover, nothing. Jungkook was nothing. But how could he be nothing when he was everything? Everything Taehyung wanted and thought about and loved, everything he had ever needed and everything he would ever need again. "I want you," Jungkook said, moaning at his own words as if they were stroking him between the legs. "Want you to make me take it, down my throat, till I can't breathe, up my ass, till I can't move. Sir, I want it, need it, please please." Taehyung was so dizzy. Everything was spinning, the room, his brain, his stomach, and Jungkook's sinful words that seemed to just keep coming, spiraling through Taehyung's ears and dribbling down into his stomach. How was this even happening? How did they go from nothing to this? How could it be that there had been radio silence from Jungkook for nearly a month, and now he was on his knees in the foyer of Taehyung house, begging to be mobility? How had the boy fallen back into his submissive role so quickly, as if nothing had even changed between them? Had nothing actually changed between them? "Please sir," Jungkook said again, yanking Taehyung out of his head as he realized he hadn't yet answered. Taehyung stood, reluctantly removing his hand from Jungkook's hair and instead tucking a finger under the boy's chin. Jungkook tilted his head upwards, his lower lip into his mouth as his eyes widened. Taehyung had missed those eyes, the gorgeous green waters that were currently only a slight pink surrounding deep black holes. Taehyung missed them so much that it hurt, deep in the center of his stomach just below his ribs. Hell, missing every part of Jungkook hurt everywhere. Taehyung tried to shake the thought from his head. "Are you going to be my good boy, sweetheart?" he murmured, trying to hide a whine at the way the word "my" slipped out so easily. Jungkook nodded quickly, the stubble on his chin tickling the pad of Taehyung's index finger. "Yes, sir," the boy sighed, letting his eyes flutter closed. Good, Taehyung thought to himself as black and green disappeared behind Jungkook's lashes. He didn't want to look at them anymore. Or rather, Taehyung didn't want them looking at him anymore. Taehyung was afraid that if Jungkook continued to stare at him, the boy would see the dozens of questions that were swimming in Taehyung's eyes, mixed with confusion and apprehension and other things that Taehyung knew he needed to get out of his head if he was going to dom Jungkook properly. You want to go upstairs? Or do you want to be a little right here in the foyer? Jungkook chewed his lip as his brow furrowed, eyes still closed as he pondered this. Wanna be in bed with you, he said after a few moments. Taehyung's breath caught at Jungkook's words, pulling his hand away from the boy's chin suddenly. He rubbed his hands over the back of his neck as he took a step back and cleared his throat, causing Jungkook to blink up at him again. No sooner had Jungkook answered than Taehyung regretted asking. He didn't want Jungkook in his bed. The bed was too intimate of a place for the two of them to be right now. Taehyung couldn't even remember if his bedroom looked presentable enough to have company. Taehyung racked his brain, trying to recall the last time he had cleaned to his room and what might be around the bed that would kill the mood. Probably a mixture of dirty clothes, cigarette butts, snack cake wrappers, and empty beer bottles, none of which he would want someone to see. But this wasn't someone, this was Jungkook. Jungkook wouldn't care what the room looked like. Taehyung knew that. Then again, did he know that? He hadn't had a proper conversation with Jungkook in months. Maybe the boy had changed while he'd been away. Maybe now Jungkook cared about things like laundry piles and dead smokes and other evidence that Taehyung was a mess. Maybe Jungkook was a different person now that he'd had the chance to live somewhere else. Now that he wasn't with Taehyung anymore, and he wasn't with Taehyung anymore. Taehyung didn't know how many more times he could handle this sickening fact sneaking up on him and knifing him in the throat, making him feel like he was choking on blood or bile or bitter truth that he couldn't swallow. Please, Taehyung blinked, glancing down to see Jungkook's stupid gorgeous eyes emphasizing the singular word that the boy had just uttered, like two black dots at the bottom of double exclamation marks. He should really tell Jungkook to leave. I want you to continue to kneel right here and count to 100, Taehyung said, hoping that this number would give him enough time to throw everything away. Not too fast. Then when you're done, you can come upstairs. Can you do that for me? Jungkook nodded quickly. Yes, sir, of course, he breathed, inching closer on his knees and leaning forward once he was directly in front of Taehyung again. Taehyung nearly kicked Jungkook in the face as the boy's lips brushed over the top of Taehyung's right feet and then the left. Thank you, sir, Jungkook said, returning to his position and closing his eyes. 1, 2, Taehyung stood frozen in place, the tops of his feet now tingling with the ghost of Jungkook's kisses. Taehyung would be lying if he said that he hadn't hoped that he would have the privilege of feeling Jungkook's lips on his body again, but this wasn't anything like what he had imagined.